Okay, I'm Lorraine. I'm Lorraine Truong, and I'm a WCMX athlete in Switzerland. So this is my sport wheelchair that I also use as my everyday chair. It's a chair that is specially made for riding in a skate park and doing tricks. Okay, yeah, so I had a brain injury. So it's really difficult both for me and for people to get what it means. Like, one day you'll see me in an electric wheelchair, one day you'll see me walking normally. I struggle with standing up, and when I stand up, I struggle with vision and that kind of imbalance. And then cognitively, well, I struggle with like everyday life or doing a complex task. If I don't have a list of things, I will struggle to be like what I have to do, and it'll mean I need a lot of energy to do it. And then I have all that sensory things that if there's too much noise, too much light, my brain just shut down. So it's very wide, and it's not the same every day or even every hour. So it's really hard to get, even for me. So this is my assistant's dog, Largo.
Hello, Largo, shall we go out? Shall we go to work? Shall we go to work?
And so for a long time I've been on a list to get a trained assistant dog, but it's long waiting lists. And in the last couple of years I've starting to feel good enough to feel like, right, maybe I'm ready to train my own dog. So I'm still having trainers to help me, but I'm training my own assistance dog, and that's really hard but also really empowering, because when he'll be finished it'll be my work, which is really cool. So he's mobility assistance dog, so he'll guide me when I'm not seeing very well. He's being able to retrieve stuff for me. He'll be able to help me get in my chair if I fall, that kind of thing. He's also an alert and response assistance dog, so if I have a seizure, he'll tell me beforehand that I'm probably gonna have a seizure, that I should probably sit down, and while I'm having it, he'll help me protect my head and that kind of thing, and afterwards he can get water for me or get a blanket for me, things like that. So I started on bikes as a kid, but I started really biking when I was about 12, because I was skiing in the winter, and we started doing like biking as a training, and I started liking the biking more than the skiing. So that's how it all started. And I really wanted to do downhill, but my parents really didn't want me to do downhill. So I raced cross country for 10 years. When I was 17, I was able to get into the Swiss national team and go to World Cup and stuff. So in parallel to my sport career, I did a degree in engineering school. So I have a degree in material sciences and in mechanical engineering. And so when I finished, I had the chance to work for BMC, designing bike frames and bikes and racing for them at the same time. So I became professional in enduro. That was my main discipline. I started, when the Enduro World Series started, I started racing that. New Zealand, South America, North America, all over Europe. I was really lucky. So in 2015, when I was racing in France, I had a crash. I don't remember, I don't know what happened, and I crashed on my head. And that time it just didn't pass. My brain really just imploded, and that was it. That was the last time I've really been on a bike. In that first year, I really still was sure I was just gonna go back to my previous life. I just needed to snap back into it. And it really didn't work. I was just really bad. I was like passing out all the time, vomiting all the time. My walking was awful. I didn't have any balance, and then after like a year and a half, 2 years, I started like to step back a bit from what I wanted. I'd be like, right, you are in that situation and you're not going back to racing in a couple of days. And so by like stepping back a little, using more aids, like relaxing a bit in my life, I've started actually improving. And so now more and more, I mean, yeah, I keep improving every month, every year. So I don't know where I'll go, but it's cool to be able to always do more. About a bit more than a year ago, so when I was kind of starting WCMX, like having fun in my chair, I met someone from Wheelchair Swiss Sports to talk about the sport. It wasn't known at all in Switzerland. In the States, there's a lot of organization, like doing local competitions and workshops and stuff, and it's what we hope to build here. Getting it more known, getting more kids, adolescents, and even adults to do it, and to see that you can do it, and if you want, you can have a lot of fun. But yeah, sure, I mean, I still have a really deep competitive soul in me, so being able to compete is really fun. Last year, I also competed in the local skateboarding competitions against skateboarder, and it was really fun. But yeah, it's really funny because it's something that after my accident, something that I missed, competition, even though I'm someone pretty stressed about competing, but I still missed it. And when I thought like, oh, I could do that, I just went for it. Even if I'm disabled, I'm still allowed to crash like anyone else. You just need to be a bit more careful. And I don't know how to explain that. I kind of stopped living for a few years. Mentally, I was really, really down, like bottom of the pit. And going back to the sport, going back to having objective, like having goals for myself, just boosted my morale. It boosted my rehab. Like wheelchair sports just made so much for my rehab. Way more than being in a rehab center for months. It's just because I guess I get all those endorphins in my brain when I do it, and it just helps everything happen. It's a balance, because yes, you don't want to crash again, you don't want to take too much risk, but I also want to live, and I also know it's good for me. So yeah, it's definitely helped much more than it's been bad for me.